like that. I like that music. Well, this is the Whissel Way. This is, I don't even know what episode this is. We've been doing it for a while now.
118.
We've been doing it. Yeah, it's 7 or 8, like Tom's saying. We've been doing our radio show for it'll be a total of 5 years in June, and we'll start our 6th year that Kyle and I have been doing the Whissel Weekends. But Kyle really wanted to, do this podcast to let people know the uniqueness and what we do at Whissel. And he calls it the Whissel Way. And, and it is a different real estate than your old school real estate.
Absolutely.
And Keith got a chance to host it a couple weeks ago. Kyle was hosting it last week. As we've been talking about on the radio, Kyle and I are actually going to the Super Bowl. And so Kyle is preparing to get, we're going to be gone this weekend. So he's getting everything put together. So he said, hey, Keith, can you run the show?
Me?
So, yeah. So, Keith, run the show. Kick us off.
All right. Hey, well, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here today to run the show. And given thought to this week's podcast, I really wanted to spend the time, Jason, as we just finished up a segment talking about BNI, Business Networking International, and LaTip, the importance of networking and getting out in your community. Over the last year, working with Whissel Realty, I've had a lot of exposure to the Tom Ferry organization, and Tom Ferry is constantly reminding us the importance of staying top of mind. And getting involved in a networking organization really gives you maximum exposure for the least amount of effort. I heard years ago the saying, work smarter, but not harder, right?
Sure.
And if you're going to work hard smarter. And through business networking, as an independent sales agent like myself and Jason in sales as well, and others that are out there listening to this, get involved in a networking community and think of it from this perspective. Once a week for an hour and a half, whether it's LaTip or BNI, you're going to sit down and get to know a group of 40 or 50 male and female professionals within your community.
Yeah.
And Jason, let me ask you, on average, how many people are each one of those going to know? 100?
Yeah, at least,
200?
right? Like minimum, everybody knows at least 100 people. So if you're talking about 50 people times 100, now you're over to 5,000.
5,000.
Right.
Absolutely. And to spend an hour and a half once a week having influence and reach to an audience of 5,000, that's just unheard of. If you sat down and dialed as fast as you could, you might dial 50 numbers an hour at that.
Yeah, but you couldn't have 50 conversations.
No,
yeah.
not at all.
Not unless you said hi-bye.
Yes.
Right?
And in any relationship, in any business transaction, what are the 3 things that they say that most people make a decision in buying something? They want to know you, like you, and trust you.
Absolutely.
And if every week you're spending time giving someone the opportunity to know you, to like you, and trust you, what do you think they're going to do next time a friend comes up to them and says, hey, Bob, I'm thinking about refinancing my house? What would you say as a networking member? They would say, hey, I know a great guy over at Team Home Loans,
right.
Jason Hall. I know him, I like him, I trust him. Here's a great referral. So the benefits of networking and staying in mind, if you're planning on succeeding in this industry, you have to do it. And over the last year with Whissel Realty, Kyle has not stressed enough that importance for his team, for his agents like myself, even I'm sure Jason's picked it up on a time or two, that we need to be out there farming, door knocking. If you're not getting in front of people face to face and people knowing who you are, closet salesmen, they don't succeed in this business.
Right.
So.
And we want to be unique. We want to stand out, right? Mm-hmm. So, as I talked about during the radio show, like Bank of America moved its mortgage operations to India back in 2010. And, somebody's calling there, but they're not showing up at their door like you or I could, right? They're not sitting down. And that's a definitely uniqueness that, 30 years ago, that was the norm. And, just the cost of employees has changed the way some businesses operate. And, you want to get face-to-face, what we call belly-to-belly,
Absolutely.
Lunches and meetings. And I can tell you doing networking, for 30 years and in almost, 9 years now in our LaTip group, if you're a real estate agent out there, you can't join an existing BNI or LaTip group very rarely because that is like the hardest position to get.
It is the most coveted position.
Yeah. Everybody wants to be, the real estate agent, the insurance guy, and the mortgage guy. Yep. And so guess what? Those are literally the 3 people that start a new chapter. Now, I know you, one of the mortgage guys and probably an insurance guy,
I do.
Will be starting the chapter here in Oceanside, because those are very unique positions. You guys are very sales driven. And it's hard to get into an existing group because once you're in, as long as you follow all the bylaws and do all the stuff, you have that spot down. But I'm kind of excited for you and a little bit jealous that you guys get to make your own group. So you get to start it from the beginning.
Absolutely.
And so let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's kind of almost a dream come true, and it's one of those things that just happens, just fall in your lap. You know, as a man of faith, throughout the years, I've come to believe that if you're doing the right thing all the time, good things tend to follow. And this happens to be one of these things that a few months ago, a friend of mine came to me and said, "Hey, Keith, we're thinking about starting a group over here in Oceanside, a business networking group. Are you interested?
Yeah.
Your position as a realtor is wide open." And
you're like, yeah.
And he's like, yeah, right, exactly. He told me a little bit about it. He said, "Hey, as a professional real estate agent, you're going to have the opportunity to give an 8-minute spill every couple of weeks to a room full of potential clients."
Yeah.
What? You mean I'm going to have an opportunity to speak to these people about real estate, and they're going to go home and tell their family and friends about Keith Bryan over at Whissel Realty Group? Oh, yeah, absolutely. I want to sign up and be a part of that. Now, the caveat, the bonus to all that for me is it's in Oceanside. It's 5 minutes from my house. I live up in Carlsbad. I go to church up in Carlsbad. So, you know, the first place I go to and I start talking to people about
people at your church. Absolutely.
So now, not only do I get church on Sunday, Thursday when we meet, Thursday morning, 7:30, B and I up at the Broken Yoke in Oceanside, I have a handful of my buddies from church that I see on Sunday, that I do life with, I do ministry with. Now we're doing business together once a week. So it's just an extension of my already day-to-day living, but just in a different formula.
Yeah, it's you know, and that comes from, like you said, Kyle Whissel. Not only you hear it numerous times from Kyle Whissel, but
absolutely.
Kyle Whissel's coach, Tom Ferry,
right?
You know, who's a very, very successful motivator, but real estate coach for many, many years. And he grew up under his dad, Mike Ferry, who's a very successful real estate coach in his own right. And those are the stuff you get being a part of the Whissel Way.
Absolutely. And here's a free tip for all you that are out there that are part of a tip or a BNI group. I just had the pleasure of having lunch with the executive director of BNI here in San Diego, and his name is Ed Wilson. And at lunch, I said, "Ed, I have this great idea for our startup chapter. I'm proposing to our group that every week we Facebook Live when we do our 8-minute professional presentation, our speech. And my vision is if one person is Facebooking it, then everybody in the group will be a friend of that presenter, and then they'll share that Facebook Live broadcast. And if you do the math, if you have a room of 50 people and each one of them had 1,000 friends, you're just now Facebooking live
50,000 people.
to 50,000
There's going to
people.
be some duplicates, so maybe it's 35,000,
Okay,
but it's,
yeah,
it's still a lot.
I mean, to think of it, I mean, what would it cost you to go out there and market to 35,000 people? It would cost you a boatload of money.
It would.
I have no idea what it costs. So it's the little things like that that are going to give you, the additional up in a business advantage by being a part of a networking group.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's absolutely amazing. I mean, Kyle really has set the way. And, I had a chance to meet Kyle when he was 19 years old. He was still going to USD.
What was that, like 5 years ago?
UCSD. He was going to UCSD, and it's almost 20 years ago. And, his dad was a commercial, realtor, and also, did a lot of unit stuff. That's what Dad did. That's Robert Whissel. And so, they had a listing that kind of blew up, and, the buyer's agent called me and said, "Hey, you'd pre-approve this client." The lender lied to him, and can you help out? And I was able to close the deal in a couple of days, and it really impressed on Robert to say, "Hey, Kyle, you never wanted to be a real estate agent, but if you do, you need to go meet this guy, Jason."
Right
and he
on.
came over and met, and we got belly to belly, and he said, "Hey, I don't know if I want to be a realtor, but would you help me?" And we that's how our relationship started. And now to see the success and what Kyle's put together is absolutely amazing. And that's the Whissel Way, but he sets the bar, right?
Really, he does.
He is, most real estate brokers want their agents to produce, and they just want to manage the office. Kyle's the top producer. I mean, Steve Winter did slightly beat him last year, first time ever.
Props to Steve.
Props to Steve, and he does the show here once a month with us. But it is absolutely, Kyle always sets that. He's a go-getter. And, if you want to see a great go-getter and learn from it, and that's what you've got an opportunity to do. And you've been on the team now a little over a year, right?
A little over a year now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing how fast that goes.
And just along those lines right there, it's when you're around other innovating individuals that you're going to pick up bits and pieces from them that you're going to be able to bring back and incorporate it into your business and help your business grow and succeed. During I did the math, I think it's 17 months I've been with Whissel Realty. And during that time, being able to collect great ideas from you, Jason, Kyle, from Steve, and other people on the team, it's made an impact on my success and my production over the last year and a half. So just that format that Kyle's preaching to all of us and that I'm learning from the BNI up in Oceanside and also from Tom Ferry and other great organizations. Bottom line is this: you can't be a closet salesman in any industry if you want to succeed. But if you want to succeed, 1, you got to step out of the closet. 2, get face-to-face with people. And then 3, surround yourself with other like-minded individuals who are going to share with you and are going to pour into your life and help your business grow.
Yeah, no, that's it. You hit it right on there. And yeah, it's been absolutely amazing just to see how the Whissel Way has grown, and how many agents you guys have, and how you continue to be the top team in San Diego year after year after year, based on transactions, doing more transactions in San Diego than any other team consistently year after year after year. You guys are number one, and that's absolutely amazing. So as we wrap up the podcast here, anything else you want to kind of say besides we're going to the Super Bowl, Kyle and I? We're going to have fun. I plan on we don't have tickets. We plan on getting tickets there. And
Go Patriots.
Both you and I do like the Patriots. The other guys we had on the radio like the Rams. Todd was the tiebreaker. He likes the Rams. But we have the Whissel Way when does it air, Tom?
Every Friday.
Every Friday we put this out. So we tape it a couple days ahead. So if you're watching it, you'll be seeing us at the Super Bowl, Kyle and I. Keith, thanks for coming in. Thanks for doing the Whissel Way and the radio show. We'll be back next Friday. See you guys.
Thank you.